Hey everybody, how's it going? This is going to be another 40k RPG video looking at a Deathwatch supplement book, The Rites of Battle. The Deathwatch Space Marine Handbook, pretty much. And it is what it says it is. It's a valuable book to have, and I'll go into it in more detail in a minute. Real quick, I didn't cover the types of adversaries you'd face as a Deathwatch game. You face pretty wide variety of combatants as a Space Marine player. And if you're playing Deathwatch, you may be a bit more alien-centric, but still, it's a wide variety. And you can use adversaries from Rogue Trader, adversaries from Dark Heresy. Chances are some of those things will be Horde types. You turn them to Horde in order to make them a little bit more dangerous. They break it down into troops, elites, and masters to give you kind of idea of like the danger of the particular adversary. And then they have Horde. Certain things can be Horde or not. You can face down. They have example of a Horde profile, and I'll go into Horde in more detail in another video. You can face Chaos. They have rules for facing generic Chaos Marines, for facing a Demon Prince. They have rules for facing Tau, Renegade Troopers, Tau, variety of stuff in Tau, gun drones, battle suits, fire warriors, Tyranid stuff. You can face a Hive Tyrant, down to just a Hormagaunt or a Termagant. So it's got a pretty wide variety of stuff in here. There is a book that I don't have. I forget the name of it. I do have it on order, just hasn't showed up yet. That pretty much gives you a book of adversaries. But we're here for Rites of Battle. And Rites of Battle is a supplement book. It's got a lot of stuff in here. What you have in here are advanced specialties. Remember, Space Marines specialize in certain aspects of war gear within their being a Space Marine. You have the Apothecary, Tactical Marine, stuff like that. These are advanced specialties, like you can be a Chaplain, things of that nature. A Champion. You can be a Dreadnought, which is pretty cool. They have rules for more war gear. They get the different variants of power armor, Mark 1 through 8, which have slightly different rules depending on which one you take, so it makes power armor that much more intricate. Plus, the big thing this thing has, this has rules for creating your very own chapter. And it has the Imperial Fists in it. So it has the Imperial Fists and rules for creating your very own chapter. So let's look at it. Jericho Reach map yet again. And pretty much, we start off with Deathwatch Origins. More about creating a Deathwatch. And right into Birth of a Chapter, which is pretty much making your own chapter. And it goes pretty in-depth into it. It covers what type of chapter they were in terms of, were you a why was a chapter founded, strategic, counter, standing force, or crusade, when was it founded, and you can have a D100 roll here to go anything from the 31st millennium, second founding potentially, all the way to the last founding, which is pretty cool, and unknown, like the chapter just doesn't know, it lost it in the records somehow. The big thing is choosing your chapter's gene seed, and that means what is your parent chapter, your progenitor, and that is the original Loyalist Legions: Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Imperial Fists, White Scars, Raven Guard, Iron Hands, Space Wolves, or Salamanders. Now, interesting to note, we don't have all of the first founding chapters represented between this book and a Deathwatch core book. There is a Deathwatch book called Deathwatch First Founding. That has every first founding chapter represented. So all of these 9 are represented in the Deathwatch First Founding book. Even the ones already with rules, they give you advanced rules. For example, the Dark Angels have rules for Ravenwing and Deathwing in there. Ultramarines have rules for being an Honor Guard. So it's not just the chapters not covered, it's also chapters covered, more stuff for them. It also talks a bit about the Space Marines in general, the Traitor Legions and stuff like that. It's interesting, Amazon currently, because that's what I go through to buy my books, has it as a pre-order, and I've been waiting for it to just come out so I can just order it. I checked out Fantasy Flight Games' website, and it says apparently it's available to order. So I put an order in with them, and with any luck, I'll have it soon. I don't know when. Um, so I'll keep you updated with that. When I do get that book, I'm gonna look through it and do a video on it ASAP. But I was very excited to learn about that book. I've been following it. It's just on Amazon trying to see when it's coming out, and it says January of 2012, I believe. Well, that would make sense. So that seems odd considering Fantasy Flight said sometime late November. So we'll see. Anywhere between a week from now to January is when I'll be getting the book. Anyway, a lot of tangents here. And then you choose Gene Stock Purity, which is pretty cool. And basically, you just go through creating your own chapter. So basically, if you have your own do-it-yourself chapter already, say the Blood Dragons, or Blood Knights, or the Angels of Fury, which I am doing, for Blood in the Void, and that's my phone. Or if you want to make up the Iron Ravens, or Brotherhood of the Helix, or whatever it is, even if you want to represent the Red Scorpions, or other successor chapters that you like, Red Templars, the Red Scorpions, I can't think of anything. If you want to try and represent a Mantis Warrior, or a Space Shark, or something like that, you can do that. So that's pretty cool. And then what they do is, after this, they show you, they go over everything from Founding Fathers to Deeds of Legend, things of that nature, for your chapter. And then, if you just go through all this, which this is still all for your creating your chapter. You can see this is pretty in-depth. You can choose your chapter homeworld, what type of homeworld was it, or do you not have a homeworld, the organization of your chapter, how close it follows the Codex Astartes. You choose solo mode abilities and squad mode abilities and specialty restrictions, potentially. Beliefs, things like that. It's pretty in-depth creating your own chapter. They went through a lot of time and effort in being able to do that. So I appreciate that, and that's pretty cool. Custom chapter advanced tables, so on and so forth. And then you have the Imperial Fists. So if you like the Imperial Fists, there are rules for the Imperial Fists here. And then after that, they have successor chapter rulings. The second founding, quote unquote. And this has rules, for example, the Nova Marines, Ultramarine successor. And how it works is, you basically build an Ultramarine, and then, I'll bring the book up, you build an Ultramarine, and then you take this and you apply it to the Ultramarine character you made, on top of what the Ultramarine chapter thing is. So whatever you get for being an Ultramarine, you get that unless it specifically says replace this with that on that. For example, again, another Ultramarine one, the White Consuls. You take what the Ultramarines give you, and then you apply these things as well. So that's pretty cool. It's a quick way to represent, the White Consuls, the Black Consuls, the Mortifactors, the Nova Marines. And they go through it all. The Genesis, then the Dark Angels, who went with the Consecrators, Angels of Redemption, Angels of Absolution, and then so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through them all. And the Lamenters, the Blood Angels. And then Crimson Fist for the Imperial Fists. So you can either do this, where you just take this and apply it to an Imperial Fist character, or you can really go through the full process and make them an official chapter type of thing, go through the entire process to make a more defined Crimson Fist, if you want to. But if you don't have the time, or you just don't feel comfortable doing that, you can just take this kind of a thing they give you here to play a Crimson Fist. Anyway, they have other things, more rules for stuff. But specifically what I want to talk about is Chapter 2 has advanced specialties. Now, advanced specialties are basically, think kind of like prestige classes in D&D. Basically, it's a particular specialty that you have to meet certain prereqs for. So, if one of the prerequisites is Assault Marine and you are a Tactical Marine, you cannot be that advanced specialty. And then you have to meet the other prerequisites if they have any, and then you can potentially do that and go that route if you want to. So I'm going to cover that in a bit more detail. First up is the Black Shield. Now, a Deathwatch Black Shield, cool concept. Basically, the Space Marine, for whatever reason, has no chapter symbol or livery on them. They are just a black armor, completely no chapter designation, nothing like that. And it's the idea of, is this guy dishonored by his chapter and therefore stripped of all the colors? Did he voluntarily leave the chapter? Is he a sole survivor of the chapter that was destroyed? Is he a chapter that fell to chaos and he's a lone survivor of the loyalist side and doesn't want to be found out and killed because his chapter went renegade? Basically, for whatever reason, you play a Black Shield, and you have certain the prereqs, or there are no prereqs, pretty much. It's rank 1. You can't do it after rank 1, so you have to be rank 1 to do it. And you get certain things here and there. The cool thing about this is you can combine certain abilities from different chapters. Basically, it lets you make a Space Marine without making up its own chapter. And then you have certain things to follow with being a Black Shield, and certain drawbacks, and maybe even pros to it. So that's the Black Shield. Up next, you have the Deathwatch Champion. And for example, this one you have to be rank 4 or higher. It costs EXP where the Black Shield is free, and then you have to meet other prerequisites. And you get war gear and stuff like that. And you get to choose your own. You get to choose stuff from some little trait thing here. Then we have the Deathwatch Chaplain, which is pretty cool. Chaplain is one of my favorite HQ types in 40k, so I like that they have them represented here. Deathwatch Dreadnought. This is pretty cool. It has a unique way of becoming one. Basically, you have to become, nearly dead. You have to basically die in the game, but not terminally. Basically how a Dreadnought is made. And that's pretty cool. And they're pretty tough, too. A Deathwatch Epistolary, which is a stronger version of a Librarian. It's like a more advanced Librarian. Deathwatch Forgemaster, which is a more advanced version of the Tech Marine. Deathwatch Keeper, it's something unique they made up, and I like it. Basically, part of the fluff is they watch over certain parts of the fortresses, and nobody gets past them without express permission from the commander of the fortress, pretty much. So if an Inquisitor wants to go through that door, if they don't have permission to do so, you cannot go through it, and they will cut you down if you try. You have a Deathwatch Kill Marine. Basically, this is for somebody who wants to play a Marine who's going to be solo most of the time. That's what this is all about. You can be a Deathwatch Captain. Pretty cool. And First Company Veterans thing. This lets you get Terminator armor and all that. And I believe that's the last one. Yep. Then you get the expanded war gear, which I touched on briefly. Again, this goes over different power armor variants. This goes over different weapons. Things of that nature, what a Crozius or Cannon can do. Here we have Cybernetics, Cyber Familiars, Power Armor, and their history. And it should go through, if we continue, somewhere, the different Power Armor. I can't find it, of course, now that I want to show you. Here we go, older armor in your game. Here we go. Basically, it goes through the Power Armor Mark 1 all the way to Mark 8. And talks a bit about, going without a helmet and what negatives you get for that. Basically, you should always wear a helmet. That's just my opinion. But anyway, that's the basics for Rites of Battle. There's a lot in here. There's a lot to go over if you want to make your own chapter. It's a lot of work, but it can be rewarding. If you really want to play the chapter you made up that you play in 40k, you can represent them here in the Deathwatch with Rites of Battle. The advanced specialties are pretty cool. So that's always fun. And then the expanded war gear is helpful. And there's different marks of armor, depending on what the storyteller or the game master allows, can also make for a more diverse group of a kill team. Somebody wearing Maximus armor versus wearing the Arant armor or the Mark 7 and whatnot. It can really just change the way the characters interact and be more suited to a certain specialty, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, that's it for Deathwatch Rites of Battle, and until next time, take it easy.